Today I'm in the beautiful Southern Highlands of New South Wales. This is where you'll find historic villages, beautiful landscapes, waterfalls, and a pub with a secret tunnel. The whole Southern Highlands area is really picturesque rural countryside filled with historic villages. We're going to explore that, but there's somewhere I need to go first. Ever since I was a young boy playing cricket in school, I've wanted to come here. So this is something I can tick off my bucket list. This place is where a legend began. I've arrived in the small town of Bowral in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. If you're a cricket fan, I think I've just arrived in Nirvana. Donald Bradman was the greatest cricketer the world's ever seen. He was born in Cootamundra, but he grew up here in Bowral. And it's on this pitch here that he gave the first glimpse of what was to come. Playing for the Bowral Public School, he made 115 not out in his first innings. In his first season of grade cricket, playing for Bowral, he had an average of 91.1. Bradman was so prolific. At the age of 18, he was called up to play for New South Wales at state cricket, and then by the age of 20, he made his Test cricket debut. Bradman had an illustrious career in the 1920s and 30s. Bradman wasn't just great, he was an absolute phenomenon. He ended up with a batting average of 99.94. That's far superior to anybody else that's ever played the game at Test level. Bradman was so superior at his game, he just became known as the Don. And it all began right here. And right here is the hallowed turf where a young Donald Bradman played. This heritage-listed cricket ground was known as the Glebe Cricket Ground, but after Bradman's exploits, it was changed to the Bradman Oval. And it's a beautiful setting. Now, even if you're not a cricket fan, hopefully you can still appreciate the fact that it was on this ground where someone who became the very best in the world at what he did began his exploits. It's been on my bucket list for a long time. I really wanted to come here. I'm so glad I've come. It's great. Bradman passed away in 2001 at the age of 94, and in accordance with his wishes, his and his wife's ashes were scattered here at the Bradman Oval. Good shot, old chap, good shot. Come on, the Don. And just behind the Oval, it seems very fitting to have the International Cricket Hall of Fame. The museum's not only about Bradman, it talks about the origins of the game, it talks about international travel in the very early days in the 1800s, it talks about Indigenous cricketers. It's pretty comprehensive. In 1882, England suffered its first home Test defeat by a team from the colony in Australia. The London Sporting Times published an obituary notice saying that English cricket died at the Oval, 29th of August 1882, and the ashes will be cremated. And this is a replica of the tiny urn that contains the ashes of the bales from that test. And that's what Australia and England play for every time they play each other over the centuries now. And that's an autographed shirt from another great batsman, Sachin Tendulkar from India. Bowral is a beautiful little town set in a valley in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. If you want to have a nice view of the whole town, then Mount Gibraltar is where you come. There are a couple of lookouts up here. Gives you a great view over the valley and over the town. There are 3 lookouts on the top of Mount Gibraltar: Bowral, Mittagong and Jellore. This is the Jellore lookout.
Take a train ride just to see you.
There's a real charm to Bowral with its old heritage buildings like the courthouse right next to me here. It's lovely, and it's in a beautiful setting in a valley surrounded by rolling green hills. And in town there's some beautiful gardens here, really lovely.
Just a dream, just all in my head. Floating rivers upstream, the things that you said. Tell me and be honest. Tell me, did you know that you would be leaving me just like the winners know? Tell me and be honest. Tell me, should I've known quiet and slow? I try my best to move on.
I need coffee, real bad. You know, as I travel around Australia in my van here, there's one thing I really need every morning, and that's a fresh brew of coffee. But you're not always going to find it. Sometimes you're out in the middle of nowhere. Where are you going to get a coffee? Thankfully, the Alton Nano has come to my rescue. This portable espresso machine is a real game changer, and it's really easy to work. You put the coffee in there, pop that into this. Really important to temp that coffee down so it's nice and snug. Now we'll pop in some water. This is cold water, about 50 ml of that. Pop this lid on. Comes with a cup. So what we're going to do is put the whole thing in the cup. Now we've got a little button on the front here. I press that for 2 seconds and it starts to warm up the water and we'll brew the coffee. And the cool thing is those little LED lights at the front there actually tell you how hot the water's getting. It starts at 1, it'll go all the way up to 4, then you know the water's ready. Takes about 3 or 4 minutes. The Alton Nano uses both ground coffee, which is what I use, but it also uses coffee pods. It has an attachment, you just pop the pod in there and you'll have beautiful coffee every time. Freshly brewed coffee. Look at the crema on that, it's just beautiful. That's a perfect coffee. That's going to wake me up in the morning. Now, if you're like me and you love the outdoors and you love your coffee, I really recommend you get yourself an Out In Nano. I'll leave a link down below. There's a code, let's go. Click on that, 10% discount for all my viewers. I use it all the time. I love it, and I really recommend you get yourself one. All right, I've had my espresso. I'm all fired up. Let's get back to exploring. Now, I'm a sucker for a historical old town, so next I've come to Berrima, established in the 1830s. At one time it was an important stopover point on the Hume Highway. Now the highway bypasses town and it's more a tourist destination. And they still have a jail here. Oh, no, sorry. What do they call it? Berrima Training Centre. Construction of this jail was finished in 1839. I believe it's still in use today. Oh my goodness, must be pretty dodgy inside. According to the signage, Berrima Correctional Centre is a progressive establishment dedicated to the rehabilitation of its inmates. I can't comment on that, I don't know anything more than that. And with its old columns, this is the old Berrima courthouse from 1838. I guess you would try it here, and if it didn't go well, you went right next door to the jail. A lot of the buildings here are made of sandstone. All of that sandstone was sourced locally, and many of the buildings were built by convicts back in the 1830s and 40s. Correction on the correctional service. Just talked to a local. Apparently it closed down a couple of years ago now. So it's not an active jail. It was a minimum security jail before that, and it was one of the oldest in the region. So this is the Berrima Vault House. It's very cool. This old inn from 1844 comes complete with secret tunnels and jail cells.
This,
Yeah.
if you want to have a look down there, it's about a 6-foot drop
Oh my goodness.
that leads directly to underneath the jail.
Okay.
And so it has now been blocked off
Was that to escape the jail or to
for
hold
smuggling.
For smuggling?
Yeah, back in the 1800s. Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you. There you go. There's a story everywhere.
Actual bars are downstairs, if you'd like to have a look at those ones.
So the bars are downstairs, so that's where I'm going. Oh wow. So this used to be an old jail cell, and now you can come down and have a drink. They store their wines here. All the wines are sourced locally from local vineyards. And this whole place was built by convicts in the early 1840s. How cool is this place? I love it. Also in Berrima is the Surveyor General Hotel from 1834. It's Australia's oldest continuously used hotel. Just imagine all the bush rangers and pioneers and people that have stopped in here for a beer on their travels. Also in town is Berrima Village Pottery. Lots of beautiful pottery and bits and pieces. Very cute little store. Not far out of Bowral is the tiny little village of Sutton Forest. This is the old Sutton Forest Inn. This was built in 1936. And as tiny as this village is, I believe there's a little bit of Hollywood here. I'm told that Australian actress Nicole Kidman has a property just out of Sutton Forest. So who knows, she might roll up at the inn there one day and see a famous movie star. At the lovely Morton National Park is where you'll find Fitzroy Falls and a spectacular view over the valley. But if you want to see the falls, you have to go for a little stroll. There's a number of lookouts. I think the closest one is about an 800-metre return, so it's not very far at all. Another one of the waterfalls in this area is Belmont Falls, and again, beautiful lookout. Now, some of this beautiful countryside looks a little bit familiar. That's probably because the film Babe was filmed around here. Babe, that beautiful film about a talking pig that thinks it's a sheepdog, that was all filmed around this area, which is near the town of Robertson. This Southern Highlands region is filled with old mansions. It was settled in the 1830s and 40s, and obviously some people did pretty well with their farming. In Mittagong, you'll find the old Fitzroy Inn. This was built around 1836, which is pretty old for Australian standards. You can do a self-guided tour of this property, but you do need to book it in, which I haven't done, so I'm just going to have a quick squeeze. do need to book. I haven't. I've just turned up. But sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Beautiful building. I've loved my time in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. Beautiful area, beautiful scenery, lovely old historic villages and towns. Definitely enjoyed being around here. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe. Love all your comments, keep them coming in. I'll catch you in the next video. Thankfully, the outer Nana, not me old Nana,